And has there been like one kit that you've looked at and you've gone, oh, 100% that'll work, and then it hasn't?
Yeah, the PSG, I think it's the, I'm gonna get this terribly wrong. I think it's the 98, and it's the one with the red and it's like stripes, and they go thicker and they get thinner as they come to the middle. That's a shirt. That is amazing. But when I did it on socks, it just looked shit. Straight up. It was like, oh, this is rubbish. I didn't bother.
Crazy.
So yeah, it's kind of wild that like. Yeah, the shirt, as I said, can just be this amazing thing, and then the sock looks like ass, but then, the other way around, like.
I'll pause the sock chat real quick because I think we're live now. What's going on, everyone? Ryan is my name, and you've caught us in the middle of sock chat with Dane, the founder of the Final Third, and we've been talking about what makes, a good sock design, because people that don't know, you should check out the Final Third, but I'm going to butcher this, but socks inspired by football jerseys.
Basically, I grew up on Serie A, living in Australia. It was on SBS, and I've worked in a place.
Let's stop you there. Yeah. You know what's crazy, right? And yesterday's conversation with Paul, big up SBS. I was glued to the TV Sunday. I'm not repeating myself, so whatever. But Sunday from the blocks from 12 to 5, and they had all the world game stuff, and the only time you get to watch football in Australia.
Like now, obviously it's changed with streaming. I can watch it whenever, I can wake up whenever, and it's amazing. But what SBS did back then, it's coming through now, and it's amazing.
Yeah, shout out Les Murray, man. That guy was. Him and Craig Foster, that chemistry, iconic.
Yeah. Amazing.
But I didn't mean to interrupt you. So you're telling us about the socks and stuff.
So as I said, I worked in this place where it was just full business wear, and being a mad football nut, I was like, I need to represent somehow. And sort of looking at the happy socks and the world of football and kits, and it just kind of two worlds collided, and that's my niche. So,
And you were telling me that the socks you're wearing now, and my bad, I should have repped. I did buy some from you today, but I didn't put them on, obviously. But you said these are one of your favorite pairs, and it's one of the original designs as well. Yeah,
so when I first started, I started with 4 pairs.
Yeah.
It was an Arsenal, Argentina, Colombia, and Japan, just in time for the 2018 World Cup, and did the Brisbane next, and then this was the 6th pair that I ever designed, the Lazio 82-83. And I've actually had this pair since I designed them 2.5 years ago. So I don't know if that says much quality, but pretty stoked with how they've turned out.
It does say a lot about the quality.
Still snappy. But so this is the 6th pair I designed, and one of my favorites.
And we were talking before we started filming. I love the origin story, the come up, if you will, because I'm always very interested in that for young brands. The come up from just 2 tubs, you said, under your bed, to what is now if things go well, and they should, you could be talking about really expanding the business and getting, a warehouse and stuff like that. That come up from this idea of something that's, when you look at the market, hasn't really been done. What was that like, taking that first step, bringing football into this hope for a business?
It never started out with this idea of I'm doing this to make money, and I'm doing this to be my own boss, and it was more as I said, I had such a passion for football shirts and just the little things with shirts, and taking it somewhere else, and I studied marketing at university and had a job in marketing, and I felt like I just wasn't learning enough where I was working, and I thought, you know what, to learn more, I'm going to do my own thing. And then that started with the 4 pairs, then went to 6, and then it got to a point where I was like, oh, do I stop it? Do I keep going? And I was like, you know what, let's roll with it. I'm going to keep going. And now it's nearly 4 years.
And we're going to nerd out on the business element, because I think moving at pace and getting your hands on the tools, right? If you come up with this idea to do socks inspired by jerseys, the only way to really learn that is to actually make them. There's as much theory as you can learn in a marketing class. Nothing beats doing it in real life and seeing how it goes.
With the design, as I said, I studied marketing. And I'm a self-taught designer, so I had no idea how to use Illustrator or Photoshop, and if I didn't know how to design the pair I wanted to, I'd go on YouTube and I'd ask friends to help, and I'd do it that way. And then sort of 4 years on now, I'm pretty proficient in Illustrator, and that kind of just came from just learning in my own time. 9 to 5 is good, but you got to put the hours in and learn.
100%, and that educational element of just being on the tools, I think, is such a big thing. We talk about, the setup that we've got here, you've met Christian, this is a ghetto setup. If you asked me what kind of camera that is, I would just be that just one lying around. What kind of mic that is, it was the cheapest one on the market. But and I think that's beautiful, right? Because it's not about getting the best things, but spending a lot of time on it.
And that's the thing, man. Once you have that foundation, then you can look at the nice stuff.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
you got to grind to really sink your teeth in,
100%.
and then you can be like, all right, I'm ready to enjoy the flavor. Like,
yeah. I love it. Grew up watching Serie A. Who's the team that you follow? Why that smile?
It's hard, man. Like, cause I was young, I watched all the teams, and sort of. I think I'd love to say Palermo, but I'm a Kaka boy. Yeah. Through and through, man. He, like people say Ronaldinho made them a football man. For me, it was Kaka.
Yeah.
What he could do was effortless and magical. So, me, it's Milan.
Yeah, 100%. I do love AC Milan. I grew up watching Kaka as well. Someone behind the fence that has the AC Milan kit that he bought from PFC Vintage. Palermo. Why did Palermo come to mind as well?
Just the story of the town.
Yeah.
If you don't know about Palermo,
educate us.
Man, look it up. Like I could sit here and talk about it, but to listen to it from me and to watch story from like creators that have been there is next level. Like, it's just Palermo is Palermo. Like, everything is pink and black, and everything is football, and it to them is the religion. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, we like football. Like, you was in FC. Like, it is fucking like Palermo. Like, it's ride or die. Yeah.
And shout out Marco Bresciano who played there.
Yeah, big dog.
So was that a big reason for the Australian connection, or was that?
Nah, man, it's just SBS and Mikkeli. Just
SBS.
watching Fabrizio Mikkeli, man.
Oh my gosh, what a baller.
Yeah.
SBS is getting a lot of love on this channel.
Man, that's how it all started.
And like, I'm repeating myself, but I also remember like the only time you get to watch football highlights was when you watch SBS World News, and you like watch the entire bulletin just to catch like the 2 minutes they have at the end for like random leagues around the world.
Yeah.
Like, how much was that like access to different football cultures inspired then your love for the game, but then also translating to your diverse range of socks?
Yeah, man, I wouldn't have that love without SBS. Like, I grew up in an NRL family. I grew up in near Cronulla, and Cronulla Sharks is obviously the team there, and you know, my dad's ride or die Sharks. And when I said to him, Dad, like, I don't want to play footy anymore. Like, I want to play football, and I want to follow football. He was like, man, you're not my son anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Just shit like that. And and having access to that SBS really, like, it just fostered that. Like, I wouldn't have gotten there without sort of watching that day in, day out. And like, I've always been a lover of the small things, little details. And then when I sort of saw football kits and learned that there was this culture where you could collect them, and what vintage kits meant, like, it just sort of like changed my world, man. Like, it sounds corny as, but like, to sort of love kits and be where I am today is something I wouldn't have thought about.
I mean, football history, right? Like, it's bigger than, like, in my mind, it's bigger than the kits themselves. It's like the memories of certain players, of certain cities, and certain towns. And then for some people, for family, right? Like, my dad grew up playing, you know, like semi-pro in Singapore and stuff like that. And Singapore's such a small country, but I'll never forget having those experiences with him. And to see what the Brisbane pop-up was today, you know, like hundreds of people coming through, which you didn't know that was going to happen.
No,
like,
man,
you can host something like this, and shout out to Tom, who we'll be talking to as well, for pulling an event like this together. Where do you see the future of football culture in Australia? Because obviously, having conversations around today, the A-League's still very young. There's issues around, you know, trying to get people involved and connected with these clubs. Where do you see the future moving forward?
I kind of like, I see it becoming more like holistic between age groups. Like, you've got these young kids today. Like, I have a Argentina '86 Maradona pair, and one kid picked it up and recognized it was Argentina, saw number 10, and was like, "Oh, is this Messi?" And I was like, "It's not Messi, man. It's Maradona. Educate yourself." But at the same time, like, it's sick that, you know, these kids are coming in and they're starting to recognize football, even if it's vintage. And then you've got like these dads that come in, and they come in with their kids to like show them this place, and then they're like, oh damn, I'm taking 4 pairs of socks for myself. So I think it's sort of bringing generations together through like the vintage culture, and then just like up and coming. And
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I actually personally think, like, I've spoken to a bunch of people. I think the future of football in Australia is the creative culture that underpins it, not necessarily all hinged on the A-League. But I mean, brands like yourself, like making it accessible through something as simple as a sock, I think is just it's just so powerful. Like, when I had that Cantona, I bought, and maybe we'll flash it up on the screen, but I bought that Cantona sock that you have with the Newton Heath colours on it, and that's my Grail kit. But to be able to own something that was like symbolic of that also meant a lot to me. And that was the first time I met you, and I was just like, these are incredible. Like, I have to have these.
Yeah, it's kind of where like the other side of the vintage started. Like I love design, but then I was kind of scared to do the Cantona and Badger pairs. They were my first 2 named pairs.
Yeah.
And then they just took off.
Yeah.
Because like you can't find those kits anymore, and if you do, they're hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, yeah.
So
and we ain't got that kind of money.
To give nostalgia back in just a cheap, fun and quality way is it's unreal.
Nostalgia's a powerful thing.
Very much so.
Nostalgia's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
So my second last question for you is, I asked Paul what will his dream 5-a-side be. For you, what will your dream 5-a-side be, but only if you could pick from Serie A, past and present?
Oh, easy, man.
Here we go.
Buffon in goals. Maldini at the back. Nesta at the back alongside. Those 2 together, we're not conceding.
Interesting.
If we do Buffon at the back, we're not conceding, man.
Interesting, because Paul said he didn't need any defenders in his side, so this would be...
Idiot, man. Idiot. And then in terms of attack, man, Kaka and Ronaldo.
That is...
For me, like, they're amazing players in the Serie A now.
Yeah.
But like that, man, that's the bread and butter.
Yeah.
Like
that was a quick answer.
Yeah.
You had that in the back pocket.
Man, I know.
And amazing. And we'll end on this. Who else would you like to see us at the Rondo chat to next?
Well, it's a tough one, man. There are a lot of growing pages. There are a lot of like in the 4 years I've been doing this, like every week there's a new page. So man, you got your work cut out for you.
Yeah.
But I would love to hear you guys speak, if you haven't already, with Pato.
Yeah.
What she does is really awesome from like the other side of the world.
So just an easy flight to Sweden. You know what I'm saying? We'll just someone sponsor us.
Man, if you go, I'm coming with you.
Yeah. Sponsor Final Third Rondo Pato collaboration. The 3-way interview. I think that'll bang.
Easy, bro.
Amazing.
Wicked.
Well, I've been Ryan. He's been Dane from the Final Third, and I really can't stress enough. These socks are incredible. Mine have lasted for ages. It's still like got the tautness to them. It's kept its shape. Definitely go check it out. Buy a few pairs. Show him some love. Dane, I appreciate your time so much, brother.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it big time. Quick shout out. I just launched some recycled grip socks. So if you play football and you love sustainability, get onto it.
Yes. Exactly.
Wicked.
Perfect.
Thank you, bro.
Love it.